For weeks, we have been anticipating and discussing that March 1 deadline for trade talks between the U.S. and China. New tariffs are supposed to get activated after that March 1 deadline. But now, surprise, surprise, President Trump downplaying that deadline. Yesterday, he told the press, "I can't tell you exactly about timing. The date is not a magical date because a lot of things are happening. We'll see what happens next. The talks have gone very, very well. We want to learn more and see if that deadline might just get put off completely. We're going to bring on our own Jessica Smith live from D.C. Hi, Jessica. What are you hearing?
Hey there. Yeah, I think this deadline really depends on how talks go this week. Lower level negotiations are happening right now. Higher level negotiations with Lighthizer and Mnuchin happen tomorrow and Friday. So we'll be watching to see what comes out of those meetings and if it's enough to get the president to push that March 1st deadline. This has really been the strongest indication we've heard from the president that he is open to pushing that deadline past March 1st. We'll see if there's a framework of a deal, if negotiators are making enough progress to maybe arrange a meeting with President Trump and President Xi to finalize these last details. But again, we just have to wait to see what negotiators come up with this week.
Yeah, and Jessica, you know, that deadline of March 1, I mean, I feel like from minute one, it was always known that this was a symbolic decision. You know, it was like, well, March 1. And as we've inched closer toward it, we all have been waiting to see, well, if we even get a hint of a deal by that time, it's obvious that that time period can be extended. That's what it seems like will happen.
Yeah, and the administration has been really firm saying, you know, this is the March 1st deadline. We're sticking to it. That's what we've heard from Lighthizer, especially saying, you know, this is in place until the president says otherwise. And as we've gotten closer, yes, the president has started to back off on this. He's getting a lot of pressure, especially from lawmakers, to come up with a deal, and a deal that has real structural change. Many people that I'm talking to here in D.C. worry if there is no deal or if tariffs go up on March 1st that China walks away, and who knows when we would get this opportunity again. So there is a lot of pressure to come up with a deal. And as the president has said, he wants to meet with President Xi before that happens. So that leads us to believe this deadline could get pushed.
Jessica, since we have you, I know we've been talking about China and trade, but obviously all week we've also heard news about 2020. Bernie throwing his hat in the ring, oh, surprise, surprise. And I thought it might be useful to get your take on what you're hearing about 2020 in terms of the candidates. The field now on the Democratic side, so big. There was this graphic I saw yesterday of all the faces who have officially declared, I'm running, and 4 of them I'd never heard of. What's the latest on that, and what's your feeling about kind of the noise level at this point?
Yeah, this field is really, really crowded. I think there are 10 or so high-profile candidates that have officially declared, and there are several more that we are waiting on. Some that come to mind are Joe Biden, Sherrod Brown, Eric Swalwell. We're waiting to hear from them. And it's interesting to see the divide in the Democratic Party. You have people like Senator Klobuchar, who is taking a more moderate approach, saying she can get things done, she can work on both sides of the aisle. And then you have others like Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, who are saying, you know, we need to shake things up and change it all, taking a very progressive view. Obviously, Senator Sanders is a part of that, and many see him as the reason we're seeing this shift toward the more progressive wing of Congress, with Medicare for All, Green New Deal, so many candidates supporting those really progressive ideas. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how this plays out, to see who ends up in this race. But right now, it's a really, really crowded field.
Yeah, as Miles said yesterday here on the program, it's February 2019, but it's basically 2020 now. Yeah, thanks, Jessica.